Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conrails, Ohio and West Virginia Division HO scale layout. Today we're over here by our locomotive service area here, and we kind of a shot I thought was kind of neat here with our cameraman and our little engineer dude, and these two guys over here, and one hanging out there, and just kind of thought this was a neat little shot here to open her up today for our December layout workbench update here, and as usual, you guys know me, didn't get done as much as I wanted to, but I still got a lot. I got a lot more done this month than I have in previous months, although it might not look like it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as I show you what I've been up to on Conrails, Ohio, and West Virginia Division. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off here at our curve by our paper mill here. And those of you that watched last month's layout update will, I'm sure, recall that all of this was all ripped apart and the tracks had just went in. And this was part of my project to ease back my curves a little bit and make them a little bit wider. These are now a 30-degree radius, I believe is what I have, as opposed to the original like 22-ish degrees. If you look closely here, we're about the center of the curves right in this area. Back right in here was where our original edge of track was for our outside track. So you can see this outside track pulled almost all the way into where the original inner track was, and now the inner track has come all the way in. So we got our rails painted, got a ballast down, and so far this month I've only ran a few trains, just kind of toying around with things and just kind of trying to work the bugs out a little bit. If we come over this way, kind of see where these curves kind of come in over here, over by our turnouts, etc. And, of course, I did test this before I did all the track painting and ballast work, etc. And everything was fine. And as usual, you paint the track, you put down your ballast, and all of a sudden, for some reason your joints start acting up and things start getting wonky. And I've been kind of chasing my tail with this here for about the last hour now here before I recorded this, trying to just get these joints kind of filed down right so that way they're smooth and they run well. Like I said, it didn't give me any issues when I tested it before I finished doing the scenery, but of course, you always you put down glue and everything all of a sudden quits wanting to work. So that's kind of been my struggle here recently, is trying to get all that squared away and right. But that's kind of this corner here. We're going to move over a little bit and kind of get the entrance to Sherman Yard and a little bit of changes I did here next. All right, so we moved over here and we're at the entrance to Richard's Yard here. I think I said Sherman in the last part because I didn't get much sleep last couple of days here. But so we're here at the entrance to Richard's Yard, and some of you will remember that we used to have a turnout that went the opposite way here. Somebody mentioned this in the comments of last month's layout update to put one in, put this, I think you'd call that right hand instead of a left hand over here. And oddly enough, when they mentioned this, I was actually just getting ready to do track painting over here. When they mentioned it, I got all excited and I ripped that out and put this right hand turnout in to go off onto our branch track here. And so that ended up in here. So shout out to whoever said that. I can't remember now who the heck it was, but somebody mentioned that. So shout out to you for the good call on that. It's kind of funny when you're in this hobby, how you're working on stuff and you're trying to make things right, and you tend to forget things. So the easy things tend to slip by you a little bit. So this is all good to go over here. Still just got to, keep running trains out and find my little problems here. And we'll go ahead and we'll turn around to the actual entrance to Richard's Yard, where I've also finished doing my track work. All right, so I know our camera angle here kind of sucks. For any of you guys that don't know, I use like a microphone stand with a little clip deal to hold my phone here while I'm recording these, because old Steve's got a little, gets a little shaky when he's trying to do things, so that looks pretty bad in the camera. But anyway, kind of this is the best angle I can get here. I ended up going with a curved turnout here at the entrance to the yard, as it was the simplest way to replace this first turnout. Because the first turnout usually ended right here. As you guys can tell with this curved turnout, it gives me all the way to here where the curve ends. So it kind of allowed me the ability to not have to do that much ripping up of tracks in the yard, and still have my curve radius be right going into the yard. Because that was a big deal, is I wanted to lessen this radius coming in, so that way I could put auto racks and 86-foot box cars, etc. in the yard if I wanted to, instead of having trouble with them. They always like to derail over here, so hopefully this should solve that and fix that problem for good. I'm hoping, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's kind of the big stuff I've been up to with the scenery this month. I really wanted to get this whole end area completed down here, as you guys can see. I really wanted to get all this done this month, because I'd like to be able to record a few trains and do a few things here in January, what we're coming into now. So that way come February I could start ripping apart the far end of the yard and getting those curves redone. But I wanted to at least get the layout back usable so I could record some stuff for you guys and get back to making videos, which I very much enjoy doing. So let's kind of move on to what else I've been up to over here at the layout. All right, so real quick, before we actually head out of the layout, because I pretty much just did that scenery work this month, I wanted to touch on this Athearn Genesis 2.0-9 here, Southern Pacific 8192. I believe I mentioned last month that I was going to be doing a scale sound speaker swap in this and trying to make the Tsunami not sound like trash, because I think the Tsunami sounds terrible. And we got the speaker in there, did make a little change, but I'm at the point where I got to do some programming with JMRI. So that's why you guys get this little shot here under the layout. This front track is the one that I use for all my ESU programming. Got my little programmer deal down here. And then the back track is the one I have hooked up for JMRI with a Digitrax box thing. I don't know what the heck it is. But this is where I do all my programming. I got my laptops over yonder to the left there. So hopefully this video will be out here in early January. Like I said, I just got to play with that EQ a little bit and see where that gets us. And then I'll be able to report on what my findings are. So let's head on over to the paint booth and I'll show you what I've been up to next this month. All right, so we're over here at the workbench now, kind of go over what I've been up to over here this month. And as you guys can see here, this Dash 8 I've been working on is really coming along pretty well here. This one was an Atlas model. I added DCC and sound to, as well as all my LED lighting. As you can see, we're a pretty decent way through the weathering process here. I still have to go back and paint all my grills black and just add some little rust spots around some of these doors, etc. there. But this one hopefully will be done, and you guys will see this one running on the layout here in the next few weeks, hopefully by the end of January here. But this one there won't be a video on. This is just kind of one I've been doing for myself in my spare time. Now this ST45-2 here, this there will be a build video on the whole start to finish, adding sound and lights and all that too. And as you can see, this one's essentially in the same place as this Dash 8. I've just done like a wash coat and some basic airbrushing on it. I haven't really done any of the little grill painting or little rust detail, etc. yet on it. But this one's coming along pretty well as well here. You can kind of tell they're a little dirty looking. And I'm happy to report as well here. I'll go ahead and bring the first of our G52H cars here. These are the Bethgons I cut in half and I shortened here. Our first car is actually done, as well as a handful of these actually are done and weathered finally. As I've mentioned in the past, there will be a build video on these as well as the G52Ls and Rs. It's just I got to get them finished yet. But my first couple here are done. So we've got those looking pretty snazzy. I think they came out pretty sharp for cars that I cut in half with a little saw. So these came out pretty good. I've got 6 of them right now that need to be decaled yet, that look like this. So those hopefully I'll get to this next weekend. I could get them decaled and move on along with those. And then another little project here we've been messing with here is some of these, I believe it was SIFX cars that Conrail bought in the late 90s. I've got 12 of these I'm doing. These were Walters cars that were New York Central patched for CSX. And I unpatched them into Conrail ones. A little side note for any of you guys out there with these Walters cars from the, I don't know if these are from the early 2000s or late 90s, these Bethgons, but for some reason when I clear coated these, we got a little weirdness going on with our decals here. You guys can probably kind of see that there. I don't know why, but they kind of like streak down. I don't know if I got a little heavy with the old lacquer there, and even like this little wheel dot just completely bled off. So it's always something. But I've got 12 of these I'm working on in different numbers that will go with my other G52 cars. So that way I got a little bit of a coal train going when we get to that there. Another project that I'm really just starting to get into, haven't really done too much with it yet, is an Atlas CSX-8. This is from the new run. It's got the fancy pants ditch lights on it that I'm going to rip out and put my own lights in. But this is going to be kind of a neat project. This is going to be a renumber and add all my lighting, sound stuff too. This will be a build video when I get to it. We're just getting that one going, just doing the teardown on it. And then another one, of course, to go with that, because you can't just have one CSX unit when you're building the consist. You got to build 2 of them. And here we have one of these SD40-2s. These were originally SD40s for CSX, but they were rebuilt into -2s, or I don't know how all that worked. But either way, they ended up being SD40-2s. This one, of course, in the YN2 scheme. This one is an Athearn ready-to-roll model. It's kind of one of the earlier ones that doesn't have any of the pilot detail, none of the MU hoses. So we're going to add all that. We're going to open the cab doors. We're going to shave off our little class light deals off the front and back, and paint it, touch up the paint on that. We're going to renumber this. This will also be a full lighting, DCC, and sound build that I will be doing as well. So those, hopefully we'll have those ready to go on the layout sometime in February. We'll see what happens. For right now, though, hopefully I can just get these 2 units done, as well as my coal train, and have those running on the layout by the end of January here, because it's almost January right now. So that's really pretty much what's been going on the layout here and on the workbench, guys. I'm kind of, you guys can tell, I'm kind of getting back in the swing of things here and getting back to working on stuff. It's just, it takes forever to do anything. A lot of you that do the level of modeling that I try to do, or pretend to do at least, you'll know what I'm saying when it's like everything takes forever the better you get with stuff, if that makes any sense, because you got so many more layers and steps to your processes that you develop in doing all this. And things like waiting for glue to dry can end up meaning that you only get, 5% of what you wanted to get done for the weekend on a project because you got to wait for the glue to dry all the way, or you got to wait for the paint in the case of this unit here, so everything just takes forever, it seems like. So hopefully I can get these two done and move on to the next projects here by the end of January here, and hopefully start ripping into the next part of the layout here at the end of January, being February. But for now, guys, that's all I got. That's what's going on with old CR Steve. We're slowly grinding on along here, knocking things out just little by little. I just want to say I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas or Happy Festivus, whatever holiday you want to go with. I hope you had a nice holiday season. And I also like to hope that everyone has a Happy New Year as well, because this video is probably going to come out right around the New Year. And I want to thank everybody for all the support this year. The channel's really grown a lot. We pretty much doubled this year, which is pretty freaking cool. I just want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and liking and doing all that stuff. I'm trying to get back to everybody as quick as I can. Don't get discouraged if it takes me a week and a half, 2 weeks to get back to you, because I'm terrible with messaging and doing all that. But I do try to get back to everybody. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I'm CR Steve, and I'll see you in the next video next year.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
Serenity now, insanity later.
Hoochie Mama! Hoochie Mama!